Hey everyone, it is Gannicus. Apologies for the delay. Balancing school and gaming can be a challenge, but the wait is over. I'm thrilled to bring you a top-notch build guide for Shen in Season 14, and trust me, Shen is so much fun to play right now. We are no longer an ultimate bot support champion on top lane. But before we go in, make sure to give me a follow on Twitter at GannicusTTV for the latest updates on Shen's itemization, buffs, and all things interesting about our favorite champion. Trust me, you won't want to miss out some of the exclusive tips and insights I regularly share there. Some of the things in today's videos could even be found there since the beginning of the season, so don't miss it out. Now without any further delay, let's just jump into this season's Ultimate Shen build guide. Let's go. But first things first, we're going to discuss the Rune Pages. Nothing much has changed here. We still use Resolve and Domination. There are a couple minor options we're going to discuss later. Grasp of the Undying is still the main capstone on Shen. It gives Shen some poke damage, sustain, and also scales your max HP. Shield Bash is basically tailor-made for Shen. Whenever you shield, you get extra resistance, and every time you receive a new shield, you get bonus damage on your next auto attack based off your bonus HP and also your shield. That synergizes very well with Key Barrier, but as well as other items such as Canic Rooker, the new tank item, which I will explain later. Second Wind also allows you to get some lane sustain, healing from poke, and also scaling a bit from HP. And finally Overgrowth, as it helps you stack even more HP to scale your champion. I've said many times before how Shen is the best champion in the game to scale off HP. It is the only champion in the game that has triple abilities that scales from HP. Key Barrier, E damage, and your R shield. But it also scales your runes such as Grasp of the Undying, Second Wind, and as well as tank items such as Titanic Hydra, the Bemis items, Canic Rooker and Shield, and much more. On the Domination tree, I still favor Cheap Shot as it benefits well from Shen's skill slow and also Iceborne Gauntlet slow field later to add some more damage potential to Shen. If you want, you could still get a Taste of Blood, which is also a good to use in lanes where you need a little bit extra sustain. Ultimate Hunter is still my favorite though, especially if you're going in games where you're constantly trying to flip lanes, put teammates ahead, or save their shutdowns. Igneous Hunter is a great option as I use in some games. We have some other Shen players that have been trying and having success with it, such as the Blue Ninja. It allows you to get Titanic Hydra cooldown a lot faster, making split pushing and dueling amplified. However, the disadvantage is that your ultimate cooldown will be a lot longer, and I personally think this is a problem in this season because ability haste was nerfed overall. Every item gives less ability haste now. So, in my opinion, Igneous Hunter is a much more fun individualist playstyle that will work best for probably a lower elo, giving you a bit more ages on your own lane, but you may miss the cooldown on your ultimate when trying to save important teammates or making plays. Choose according to your playstyle or team comps. But finally, the chart change is what I think is the most beneficial thing for Shen. And here I like to take only scaling runes. First choice is gonna be attack speed. Believe it or not, Shen is one of the best top laners with his attack speed scaling growth. Once you have Hydra, and as the game progresses, attacking faster can make a huge impact in duels and team fights, especially with Titanic Hydra. And in my opinion, with the buff of 4 AD given last patch, we can be more comfortable to go attack speed without missing CS. And here's where things get very interesting. They remove match resistance and armor runes. This was a huge buff for Shen for two reasons. One, if the enemy has less armor, they will take more damage from our auto attacks early, which was an extra advantage to the 4 AD buff. And the attack speed if you take it. And if the enemy can take the initial match resistance runes or kill max HP, we also hit harder. In a way, it was somewhat of a reversal for Shen's skill damage nerf, we received 2 years ago before the durability patch. This allows Shen to hit harder and be a bit scary during the early game as it used to be before. And finally, I like to take double HP scaling runes. Remember guys, Shen scale from HP on key barrier, E damage, R shield, as well as our runes and tank items, especially Hydra. This combination of runes plus Hydra will allow Shen to be a scaling champion, no longer an ultimate bot support champion. Next, we are going to discuss summoner spells. Personally, I am a big fan of Ignite and Flash. Ignite not only cranks up the lane pressure, but it also scales better in the late game. Plus, it also offers you grievous wounds for your team, potentially saving you from having to rush Bramble Vest. While Teleport has its perks for early forgiveness or tower defense at level 6, it doesn't really synergize as well with Shen's late game prowess. With a shorter R cooldown, Ignite becomes a game changer, providing extra damage and also grievous wounds in teamfights. And of course, Flash is your ticket to making those crucial picks and impactful team plays. Now to the essential part, the itemization. We're gonna start with Doran's shields and 1 health potion. They are the best starting options, especially after the recent buffs on Doran items. The absolute core item for this build is Titanic Hydra. I also kind of consider Iceborne Gauntlet a core item as long as the enemy team is not full magic damage, or Canic Rukern as long as the enemy team is not also full AD. On your first back, you want to aim for Tiamat to enhance your damage and also wave clearing. But if the gold is tight, 1 or 2 ruby crystals early is also a solid early purchase to help you have some combat stats. From there, I would really suggest you to rush Titanic Hydra right away. You get instantly wave clearing. You can take towers or plates, and also a burst damage for 1v1s or teamfights. Be cautious against heavy auto attackers or some AP champions like Mordekaiser. You may consider get some resistance before you rush the item so you don't get dove. The boot choice is also critical. Ionian Boots, in my opinion, is also a core item because they nerfed ability haste this season. The Ionian Boots, in my opinion, counters one of the Shen's weakness, which is the early game long cooldowns on E and W, and also makes your ultimate more available, making very crucial to flip the games. But also, consider going plated steel cap if the enemy team has several auto attackers in multiple roles, or Mercury Threads if the enemy team is really heavy on CC. Now for the second item of my choice, Iceborne Gauntlet is really one of my favorite. It's almost a core item as I said, unless an entire enemy team deals magic damage. In my opinion, it's a fantastic item for Shen, providing HP, armor, and ability haste. The Shen effect also boosts damage, aids in wave control, and also helps to some tower damage. But these low fields synergize seamlessly with Titanic Hydra, letting you stick to your opponents, also procs cheap shot, helps build teammates, or chase down enemies. Now, in my opinion, this item is the game changer. This is one item that I also consider a core unless the enemy team is full AD. Canic Rukern. This tank item is tailor-made for Shen, offer magic resistance, health, and health regen, and also an incredible passive magic damage shield. It synergizes really well with Shield Bash, turning every key barrier you proc into a damage powerhouse. Remember, you get more damage based on your bonus health, but also the shield size, and your your shield bash is always calculated from the Canic Rukern shield size, even when you refresh the shield with a key barrier. That makes you do so much more damage, especially against AD champions that they cannot bring down your magic shield, so they will always take the full extra 100 plus damage whenever you reapply key barrier. Now, I believe that everything else is situational, but let's touch on some points on some items that are worth noting. Anathema's Chains is really good against champions that have mixed damage and hyper scale. Example, Kayle or Jax. It is also great if the entire enemy team is one type of damage and they have a one single fed carry that's a different damage type, allowing you to build itemize against both of them without having to build armor or MR depending on the need. Jackshaw is also a great item as a 4th or 5th item. It also grants you great resistance and makes you unkillable late game if the enemy team doesn't have like true damage. And now, also Force of Nature, in my opinion, is really good against a full AP team. Don't sleep on Wit's End either. It also gives you some damage and attack speed. I'll consider building it only like very late game once you already have like a lot of HP stacked, because then it scales better with your attack speed. And also remember, Wit's End also now has tenacity. For armor items, I believe Tornado is still a solid choice. It provides some decent armor, HP, and also grievous wounds. If the enemy team has crit heavy auto attackers, Randuin's Omen your go-to, reducing crit damage by 30%, and the active also slows enemies on team fights. Consider that against like Trenamir or with Yasuo mid and also another AD carry. But then there's some support items if you want to be a team player or you're short on gold and you want to reach full build sooner. The Locket is still a good item, giving ability haste, dual resistance, some HP, and the team shield. Knight's Vow is still pretty decent, and then there's a new item that's in my opinion is really great. Trailblazer. This item has armor, HP, and is very cheap. It boosts your movement speeds, builds up like Deadsman Plate, and slows down enemy, all while also giving you and your teammates movement speed, able to turn team fights really hard. And now, as owner mentioned, is a shout out for Edge of Night. A handy item if you're struggling against Nocturne. It allows you to block his ultimate Darkness CC and still use Stand Unite on your teammates. Anyways, that wraps up today's guide, guys. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with your fellow Shen enthusiasts, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm always eager to hear your feedback and answer any questions you may have. And once again, thank you for watching, and a huge shout out to everyone who helped us hit over 500 subscribers. Your support means the world to me. Until next time.